What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. We are out doing yet another stream today. Looking forward to doing this one. We are having a bit of a different setup today. I've been messing about with some stream settings. We've been changing stuff around, trying to get all prepped for Rugby 22. So we're going to be testing a little bit of stuff out today, make sure it's all working properly. I can hear the game in the background. Good, that's what I was making sure. That was the thing I was worried about the most. So, right, let's jump into this one. So, yeah, I was going to be doing the stream. I was going to be doing the stream a little bit earlier. I was going to be streaming about, I don't know what I was going to start, about 7 o'clock. And then just before I was about to start streaming, they went and started dropping things about Rugby 22. And I had to do a whole video talking about that game that's come out, all the gameplay and stuff. So I thought what would be fun to do tonight, we'll jump on, we'll play some Rugby 20. It could be the last time I ever play Rugby 20. Who knows? By the time we actually get around to this, this could be the final time we ever play Rugby 20 on the channel, because with Rugby 22 coming out, it's going to get exciting. That'll probably be taking over. It is looking very similar to Rugby 20, so that might be taking over a lot of the videos on the channel. And of course, when the game does come out, we'll be doing a lot of coverage of that game. So hopefully the sound and stuff is okay for everyone. If anyone does have any complaints and stuff, feel free to drop it down in the chat. I will try my best to actually look at chat tonight, because I'm still getting used to streaming, still getting used to the whole idea of streaming and talking to you guys as you're on the channel. So what I thought we'd do tonight is check on a couple of games that we know are going to be going on across the Six Nations, and basically just talk about all the stuff we've learned about Rugby 22 and the Six Nations. So thank you to everyone who's joining us live, and thank you to anyone who is watching this after on the channel. Make sure you drop this video a like. So who should we start off with? What's going to be a fun game? Let's start out with, I want to play as Italy. I haven't played as Italy for a little while. Let's start out with Italy, and we will become, who should we be? Let's be, who will be a fun game? Who is Italy's first game? I actually don't know who the order of the games going. I think they're playing France first. Let's do Italy-France. That'll be a fun game to start us off with. I'm really looking forward to seeing Rugby 22 come out. I've seen a couple of mixed comments already. Different people's things on Twitter and Facebook. They finally actually uploaded the trailer and stuff onto their Facebook channel and their Twitter pages. I actually didn't look at the question then. What was it? Probably something really useful. They've actually uploaded them now onto their social medias and stuff. So I've seen a couple of people dropping comments down about the trailer and stuff, and a couple of people not liking the look of the new game, which is interesting. It's interesting to see that the people are already being negative before the game's already come out. I think it looks better than Rugby 20. I mean, the comparison just now, even looking at the start of this Italy kit, is just blue. It is just a static blue colour. So the fact that they've actually added some textures now, the images from slightly further away make the character models look a lot better. Actually, I wasn't really able to test the difference in image quality between the trailer for Rugby 22 and the gameplay for Rugby 20 to actually see just how big the difference is. But now that I'm going back to Rugby 20, I can actually see a bit more of a difference. Not necessarily the pitch itself, but the players, the kits, the player models. I did mention it in the video that is on the channel if anyone wants to go watch it after this or during this if you fancy popping out and coming back. That the way the players actually look in that Rugby 22 gameplay, they look a lot more lean, which I really like. Even Carlo Canaher, Bramstein. If I run upwards, you can see how he's built like a ball. They're all huge players, but they didn't really sort of design the characters well enough to look a lot like rugby players. They're very spherical. So if they manage to actually implement that into the new game and actually have a bunch of oh, there we go. Oh, it's not even a penalty. Outrageous. Can we sneak in a try? Let's see if Callum Brayley can get over for a cheeky try in the corner. Yeah, I thought the trailer looked good, Tom. I personally, I'm really looking forward to it. I thought Rugby 20 was a good base game. I thought they had a good skeleton to work with from this. They just needed to update the graphics. They needed to update the general mechanics for the game, which I think is a big one for a lot of people, just to get rid of some of the glitches and stuff, and then just make the game just a more solid entity, and then they're going to update the teams and stuff. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to see what they do with it. But I already have seen quite a few people being quite negative about it. I mean, it's never going to be a FIFA, it's never going to be a Madden. The money just isn't there in comparison. So I personally am really looking forward to it. I'm glad a lot of people are looking forward to it because rugby games is one of those things that people seem to be expecting it to be terrible. That was a great clothesline. That man belongs in WWE. But yeah, a lot of people just seem to expect that rugby games are going to be bad, and if you never give them a chance, no one's going to make rugby games. We want rugby games. We want them out. We want to be getting them. We've already got an injury. I don't see a lot of injuries in this. Bellini down. He did save us back in the days. Oh, we got Dave Wakefields. He joined in. How are you doing, Dave? Can't stop. Got to shoot off. No worries. Yeah, we are going to be doing a bit of talking about the Six Nations. Feel free to catch the video afterwards on YouTube if you want to. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, but we're just sort of making it as we go along. Looking forward to getting involved with the chat a little bit. Tom, going with Grand Slam Wales. I mean, that's what we all want, Tom. That's what we all want to be hearing. That's will it happen? Not 100%. But then saying that, I discounted Wales last year. I was actually looking back through at... I mean, this is a good screen. Here you are. First fix for Rugby 22. Don't have a screen that just stares at grass. Yeah, when I actually looked earlier on, I've been sort of setting myself up to do the Six Nations 2022 prediction. So I was looking through some tiles. I was looking at the video I made last year for the Six Nations and my predictions on that, and I discounted Wales very early on, and they, they nearly got the Grand Slam, and they would have had Corey Hill not decided to throw that game away against France. We could have had a Grand Slam out of nowhere. It was a very well earned Six Nations for a team that no one was really expecting them to. So I can't discount them at all. Personally, for me, I would be looking towards, I think, either an Ireland or a France this year. I think is where it's going in terms of the actual Six Nations. But can't discount Wales. The only thing for Wales, unfortunately, I think is just going to be that injury list. I still don't think Alan Wynne out, Justin Tipuric out. Haven't heard anything about Navidi. Who got injured in the Blues game? It wasn't. Was it Tame Basham? No, I can't think who it was now. Someone got injured in the Blues game on the weekend as well. There's just an injury list for Wales. Could be a thing, which is fine. Get some new boys on. If you need to throw the Six Nations away just to get some time on the field for some of the new boys, I think that's perfectly fine. England not licensed. Yeah, England not licensed in Rugby 22 again, which is weird. I mean, I know there's going to be a course. There's always going to be a fight for like Rugby Challenge 4 and stuff. But the fact that they've managed to get the license for Rugby 22 away from Rugby Challenge 4 for New Zealand, I really thought if you can get New Zealand, that maybe England would be looking to join in there as well. Australia's going to be in there. Let's just try and get this off the pitch. 12-0's fine for me at half-time. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a big market as well. You've got to think about the population of like the UK. So the UK has to be up there for one of the biggest sort of rugby watchers really. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. There's a lot of population there. But in consideration to what Wales has, I don't really know population sizes. Is it 4 or 5 million people in Wales compared to 30 odd in England? There's a big population gap there lost by not securing an England license. And for people like me, doing videos and stuff covering the Six Nations, I love watching the Six Nations every year, and I love doing videos. And my preferred way of doing videos for the Six Nations is playing a game in the background. I really like playing as the licensed teams. I'm sure they will find their way around it. They haven't dropped yet the full list of club teams that have actually been licensed. I assume what they will do, very similar to what they did in Rugby 20, is have the English club levels licensed, and then when you're designing a team, you can actually buy the English international players through the club levels. They sort of got around it that way, and you had to make your own. So not a licensed kit, not a licensed stadium or anything like that, but you can actually build the team, which I thought was a really nice touch, considering they, I'm sure there's probably been conversations had with English rugby in order to try and get them into this game, and they've turned it down, whether it be money or reputation or what have you. But hopefully they keep that in order to do that. Definitely looks better than Rugby 20. Yes, absolutely. I really do think it does. A lot of comments that I saw on the Facebook and the Twitter pages for Rugby 22 has already got people saying game looks awful, never going to buy this, this looks even worse than Rugby 20. It's like, I'm astonished. I imagine a lot of those people probably either didn't play Rugby 20 or that was a terrible kick, or picked up Rugby 20, played it for a few months and, put it away, put it on a shelf and haven't played it really since. I am some outrageously sad level in this game. I am like 150 or something, or 160 in this game. I've no idea what the world record is, but I've got to be getting close for levels in this, because I do so many videos where I use the footage and stuff in the background. I have to play so many games on this game, and I can immediately tell the difference. I mean, the character models, even just the screen here alone, they just look like sort of blocks. You can't make out anyone's faces. The shapes of the arms and the backs, they all look a bit Tomb Raider-y from back in the day. So I think the character models look better, as long as that is the character models. That is another side to it. As long as the character models are actually enhanced. They haven't just done that for the sake of that gameplay trailer, which would be a little bit sad. Let me see if I can zoom in on the old chat, because I'm not used to streaming. I haven't really got a whole stream set up. Hopefully everything is good with the sound and stuff. If the game is too loud, if I'm too quiet, make sure you guys do drop it down in the comments, because this is a whole new streaming setup for me. I'm trying to get it prepped for when Rugby 22 comes out, so I have no idea if there could be issues and stuff along the way. I've tried my best in testing to get it to work, so hopefully it's working sound. Who do I want to win the Six Nations? I mean, I will always want Wales to win the Six Nations. I just can't believe they were. I think I called France last year to win it, but I did that prediction before they announced the teams. I still don't believe they've got all the teams out yet. I saw Italy announce their team today. For like the first 2 games, I'm not really sure why it is they've announced the teams for some games. But I thought France were going to win it last year, and then as the teams got released, I actually then swapped my mind and thought Ireland would actually win it after I saw the team announced. I thought the Irish team was huge last year, and a lot of people called me out for that. What am I on about? They were nowhere near. And I think if you look back at it last year, Ireland won nearly all of their games. They won. I think they win 3 or did they win 4? They lost to Wales. They lost to Wales by a point after 60 minutes of red card. And arguably, I think Ireland deserved to win that game. As much as I was very happy to see Wales win that one, I do believe Ireland deserved to win that one. I think they could have taken that Six Nations. The performance we've seen over the summer and through the autumn, that win over the New Zealand team looked just devastating. They looked really, really good. There were so many well-played times in that game from them. I really think Ireland could be able to take it this year, but if Wales step up again, I'll be perfectly happy. Is there a ref in Rugby 22? I believe there is a ref. Actually, that's something I'll need to look at. I will start the next game off. We'll have a look if the ref actually is in Rugby 20. As I was making the video earlier on, I could not remember if there is actually a referee on the field. Another one, he is there. He was in the corner just then, if you saw him for a second. We'll quit back out. As the screen's loading as well, feel free to drop down any games you guys fancy watching in the stream in the background, because I can do some requested games if people want to, but we will keep an eye out for refs. I also want to keep an eye out for touch judges. I had no idea if there was touch judges in this game. I just couldn't think about it off the top of my head, so we'll have a look at that for the next game. Do you think it'd be worth buying or staying with Rugby 20? I mean, Wilfred Rice there with a good question. Do you think it'd be worth staying? I mean, for me personally, as someone who enjoys rugby games, and I'm a bit picky about rugby games, I didn't play Rugby 18, and I got Rugby 20 on a bit of a whim, and I've actually really enjoyed this game, and I think a lot of the base mechanics are really good. The only things I wanted, I mean, as you can see here, this England team, I don't know if that's meant to be like a knockoff Elliot Daly, but a couple of licenses missing, which was a shame. If you go back to some of the rugby games, there's a lot more licenses involved and stuff, and it was nice to see. I'm not sure currently if it's going to be worth picking up Rugby 22. Of course, I will be picking up Rugby 22 because I'm going to do it for the channel, we'll do it for videos, and you guys get to watch it and stuff, so I'll be picking it up. I would think currently, I would maybe hold off just for a month. When Rugby 20 did come out, there were a lot of patches as well that did come out with this game. So it might not be, as smooth as you want it to be when it first comes out. There may be a couple of issues. You might want to watch some other people's videos on it before you actually pick it up, especially if you don't have, disposable income to just go out and generally buy a game whenever you want to. Then I think it's maybe worth holding off just for a bit, just because we haven't quite seen enough. Is the gameplay trailer going to change your mind within 2 weeks of it coming out? Not 100% sure for me. Right, what should we do for it as a game? Let's do... Anyone got any requests? I'll give it like 30 seconds. If anyone puts a request in for any game, I'll chuck that game on. If not, I'll just pick another Six Nations game going on. Tom Lewis, is Rugby 22 the same developer as Rugby 20? Yes, Nakon and Eco Software are doing it again. There's been a lot of stuff going on with Big Ant Studios, who were involved. Oh, there we go. Pedro Myers and Wilfred Rice, Harlequins in Scotland. There's a mix-up. I have no idea who's higher rated. Our players. Oh no, it's London Irish. Harlequins 79. Actually, they might even be the exact same. Scotland 79. There we are. Hey, there's a game and a half. Let's do Harlequins versus Scotland. What was I saying? Something about developers, wasn't I? Yes, Big Ant Studios have parted ways or gone off, and there's another people now involved with Rugby Challenge 4, which is why Rugby Challenge 4 sort of got just avoided. I believe someone else is also being involved with... There was talk about a new World Cup game, very sort of under the table about who was jumping on that. So a lot of people have swapped up who's joining who. Whether they will ever do another one after Rugby 22, or maybe they'll join with Big Ant Studios more to do either a World Cup game or Rugby 23. I have no idea what they'll call it. But yeah, it is the same people, which is why I think it's a safe game to pick up for anyone looking for a rugby game to pick up. I think it'll be a safe one. I can't imagine it'll be broken or anything super terrible with it. You'll probably just be looking at a much more updated version of Rugby 20, which if you're happy with that, like I'm actually probably going to be quite happy with that, then all positives. It's what I take away from that. Rugby 22 looks better by far. Yeah, I think it is. I'm looking forward to see how it goes. Again, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. It's a gameplay trailer. If there's anything I've ever learned from 20 years of playing games, a gameplay trailer will always look far better than the game, especially with some of the cinematics we saw in that Rugby 22 trailer now. Having the that first person running, is that a thing they're adding into the game? Is that just a cinematic thing? Because when you add it into a trailer, it definitely makes it look like that's actually going to be a game mechanic. However, if you had gone so far out of the way as to make a first-person playable game, wouldn't you be screaming that from the rooftops? Why would you just add that generally into a gameplay trailer right as you're about to release the game? I think they would have announced that before if it was an actual game mechanic. What else we got here? All Blacks be tough. What, in Rugby 22? Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm glad they got the All Blacks though for Rugby 22. I play Rugby 20, but getting Rugby 22. Well, hey, there you go, Thomas. Glad you're going to be picking it up. Hopefully, some of the videos I've been doing along the way have been helping you make that decision. Oh, we couldn't make it out the way. Getting chased down. Who is on the wing for them? Is it Sean Maitland in this game? I think Sean Maitland's on the right wing. He is not quick when you play as him, but when he's on the other team, suddenly... let's just spread the width a little bit here. I'm certainly struggling. Oh, hang on. We got a bit of room here. Let's try and get James Lang. James Lang, I saw have a superb game on the weekend. He was absolutely carving people apart. You're going to do career mode in Rugby 22? Absolutely. I really... Rugby, the career mode is a very difficult one. The last game I remember having a proper career mode that I actually thoroughly enjoyed is going back to like 2006 on the PS2. Oh my god, it's half time already. Go on, Ramshaw, get on with it. We need to score some tries here. Yeah, back in Rugby... I think it was Rugby 06 that I was playing. And yeah, when you go back and play that game, it looks awful. But the actual sort of creator team that you had in that one, you basically had an emblem, you had a choice of emblems you could do. You created a kit, sort of as you do in Rugby 20, and all the players you had on your team were fake. They were like made up players. And then every 6 weeks they opened a transfer window and you bought more fake players and you earned money in the game, and you bought and sold players. And I thought it was so in depth, and I got so invested in that career. And the problem with Rugby 20 was that you start off with creating a team, but because in order to create a team you have to begin with the card setup in Rugby 20, which you get by playing the game. Generally, you want to do some packs. We'll do some packs after this, just in case anyone has never seen the pack system before in this game. But you open so many packs before you enter the career system. The first team I created the entire Wales team. Was my first career team in this game. And putting it together, although it was rated in-game like 65, and it was really low, the actual players, oh, you got to try that, the actual players that were on my team were like easily like an 87, 89 rated team. So I just dominated the career mode, and it felt a little bit grindy. It felt like I just had to play every game as it came. There was no real depth to it, and it was just missing that little bit of buying and selling players for me. Do you think Rugby 20 has been more enjoyable than any other rugby games that you've liked? The World Cup? Oh, yeah. Oh, now there's a question. Pedro with the big questions. I love Rugby 2011. It's a little bit hard to... Go on, kill. Oh, off the crossbar. It's a little bit hard to be super objective just because nostalgia for me. Rugby 2011 was a game I played for 9 years straight without any other rugby games in between, and my memories of it are great. I think the thing that was in Rugby 2011 was it was hard, and I really liked that. The strategy in between the two games is so vastly different. Is Scott drop the Baldwin? We'll check him as he gets called now down in Wales. I just changed my front row a little bit here. Rugby 20 is all about attack. It is all about just going forwards with the fastest players and you'll just score a bunch of tries. Rugby 2011 was so defensive. It was like you could genuinely end games, 7 points to 3, and you scrape to win. But the feeling of relief you got was so much more enjoyable for me because you had to be genuinely very good at the game to play it on the hardest difficulty. Oh, that was a terrible pass. Oh, can someone shut him down? No, get in there. Oh, we managed to stop it round the try line. Can we just hold it out here? Harlequin's defence. Big defence time. Oh, it's a good last man tackle. Can he get the turnover? No, he can't. Get round on the wings. Oh, I forgot what I was saying now. I was saying something really important and the game took over. Come on, get in there. There we go. Right. Let's just get this out of the park here. Let's clear our lines a little bit. It got a little bit hairy. But yeah, and I personally enjoyed the difficulty of Rugby 2011 because it made it so much more rewarding. There was an achievement in that game to beat. Effectively, the achievement was beat New Zealand as Scotland in 20-minute halves. 20-minute halves in real life on the hardest difficulty. And I must have attempted that achievement 50, 60 times before I did it. And at the time I did it, I was so overjoyed. I think you got more enjoyment from achieving wins in Rugby 2011. But I think Rugby 20 is probably a better all-round game just because of the ability to do the club level games, the set plays, the way that the players interact with each other. The interception mechanic in this game is really nice. Interceptions in Rugby 2011 were really hard to do. But I really like in Rugby 20 you can actually run a player into the space where you think a pass is going to go, and it feels very realistic to actually catch an interception and run on. Do really like. But then Rugby 2011 had the quick time events. If a player gets tackled on his own and you get other men over the ball quickly, it was a quick time event. Press X and you can rip the ball off them. And that was a really interesting system, so I really like that. Both games had positives and negatives. Which one would I prefer? I still go back and play Rugby 2011, but I think when Rugby 22 comes out, I might not go back and play 22. might not go back and play Rugby 20. So, take from that what you will. I've just rambled for a bunch of time. I'm not paying attention to the scrum. I'm trying to read chat. Let's try and win the scrum. The last rugby game I played was 15. Yeah. Oh, that's not centre. I'm going to get a penalty there. Wow. Yeah. I've missed out all those middle games. I was in university for a good bit of chunk in the middle, though. I didn't really have time to do a great deal of games. I was too busy drinking far too much. So I missed a couple of in-between years for me. Crazy they haven't showed any gameplay. Yeah, that gameplay trailer, dropping today is insane. It's 2 weeks out. It's 2 weeks from being released, and this is the first people who got to see. One of the things I did mention in that video was about the digital download. It's still, as far as I'm aware, there we are, level 161. So I'm so high in this game now. They still, I don't believe, have actually released the game on digital download. It's still not on the Xbox Game Store. I did just check before I started the stream, and it's still not there. So it looks like I might be picking it up on disc from Game. It's going to be interesting to see. Fighting you can add fighting into Rugby 22. I mean, hey, if you could do a little crafty punch in there, could be fun. One thing that I did actually quite like in Rugby 22, in Rugby 2011, there was a ability in scrums and mauls where you could manually choose to collapse the scrum or the maul, which I thought was a really interesting idea. The idea of adding in cheating and trying to, do illegal stuff in a game and see if you could get away with it. I actually quite like that aspect to a game. Add in a way that you can sneakily do cheating and stuff. The only problem in 2011 was if you did it, you immediately gave away a penalty. It just didn't work. The actual mechanic itself didn't work. You would always give away a penalty. But I've always wanted a game like maybe sometimes the referee would miss a knock-on. Maybe they would miss a high tackle or something. I think that could be fun. The hacker you're looking forward to. Or hacker and anthems. I mean, if they add that into the game, I think that'd be cool. Yeah, the actual walkout in this game is quite fun. We'll check another game on. I'll see if anyone drops down in the comments any games they want to see. I'll give it like another 30 seconds before we actually chuck a game on. But the actual walkout for the game generally is a little bit lax in this game. Unfortunately, they do the sort of line up in the tunnel, and they all sort of run on the pitch. They run around for a little bit. I'm not sure if there must be licensing to do with anthems. I imagine something's in there. But then the same goes for like stadiums. I don't really know how they have Wales licensed in this game, but not the Principality Stadium. So I don't know. There must be a licensing issue. Maybe the hacker. I mean, they could add the hacker in. Surely, can you license a hacker? is that a thing? I don't think they do that with any of the like the Samoa team. I'm trying to think who does the hacker who's actually licensed in Rugby 20, just in case we could test it. Fiji aren't licensed. A Samoa license in this one? I think they were. Samoa do a hacker, don't they? Let's do Samoa versus someone. Samoa versus someone higher rated. We've done you. We might do an island game later. Japan, that sounds fun. Samoa, Japan. Let's check that out. Kieran's in the chat. Hi, Kieran. Doesn't look too bad this. Yeah, I mean, this is Rugby 20. I mean, we've got a new game coming out soon, Rugby 22. Is this going to be Gurado, probably? Rugby 22 coming out 2 weeks' time. Looking forward to some hopefully updated graphics, updated players. Updated player stats is one. That's going to be a big one for me personally. I think in this game, Louis Rees-Zammit has a speed of something like 71 out of 100, which whoever was involved with some of those stats, I think they actually get the stats from like rugbypass.com as well, who normally pretty on it. Yeah, let's just have a look. I don't think they do a hacker in this. I still haven't looked for referees, have I? Referees or touchdowns. Need to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I'm a Wales supporter, Tom. I was joyous last year when we saw how well Wales actually got on, actually managed to win the Six Nations, even though I didn't expect it. But yeah, I will be supporting them again this year, although of course remaining super objective for the videos and stuff. I do try my best to not be biased towards Wales, especially when it comes to like Team of the Week and stuff. I think the hacker will be in it. Yeah, maybe. Let's just see if Samoa do any sort of hacker. I don't think they do. Well, there's Again, very weird. They had the Japan team in this game is licensed, but they didn't have any photos for any of the Japan team. Quentin Prevost, the only referee in the game. Again, I have no idea if referees are licensed, but I would like to see new referees in Rugby 22. You know, I mean, I'm not sure if Nigel Owens would have made the cut, but there's certainly a couple of referees you could have in a game. Okay, there was no hacker. Start out going to the right. In fact, you know what? On that note, actually, in terms of why am I not doing anything? Why am I switching presets? Oh, he's already dead. In the terms of like referees and stuff, I would actually quite like in the game menu to be able to choose who the referee is, or have a random referee assigned to a game. And depending on how good the referee is in real life, give the referee a rating out of 100. And if you have a certain referee, maybe they actually pick up on more penalties. And then that way you would have, you know, referees themselves could be involved with the game as well. I think that'd be great fun. No hacker, lol. Yeah, unfortunately. maybe hackers are licensed. I'm not sure. Can we get a long pass out? Oh, there we go. Fidao out on the wing. Quentin Prevost is my favourite ref. Absolutely. He's the favourite ref in Rugby 20 by all means, Pedro. He's the only ref. I mean, you know, forget Nigel Owens. Quentin Prevost has easily ref 2,000 games for me in this game. But I think it'd be really cool just to add in, you know, like, I don't know, who's the best referee currently in the world? I guess. I mean, it depends on your own views, I guess. Personally, for me, I think Paul Williams is currently the best referee in the world, but I can absolutely imagine a lot of people probably say Wayne Barnes. But just the ability to have the pick and choice of different referees and have different refereeing styles, I think it'd be really interesting. Maybe some refs pick up on hands in the ruck far more than others, so it means you have to compete less at breakdowns. Maybe some keep an eye out more for high tackles. Maybe some will give you a yellow card for one foul, and some referees won't give you a yellow card for another foul. All these little things you can add into a game just to make it a little bit more realistic. Is there sin bins on this? Yes, there is sin bins on this. There isn't a lot of ways to show it, unfortunately. You basically, the only way to get yellow carded in this game, again, something that Rugby 2011 did much better for me personally. The only way to get a sin bin in this game is to literally perform a high tackle. And the only way to perform a high tackle is almost RNG of timing a tackle badly. And then sometimes they do it. Let's see if we can get over the line here. Lauer! Oh, over for the line. Yeah, but you don't really seem to get to see a yellow card actually happen. There's no real animation for it. They pretty much have a high tackle land, hit someone in the face, they go to ground, and you either have an injury or the game just carries on, and you'll see up in the top left above the team names that someone has a yellow card. You never actually see someone receive a yellow card. You never see them walk off the field. And then one thing they desperately need to fix that is in Rugby 20, they need to fix for Rugby 22, is in this game, when a yellow card is over, the player literally just runs back on the pitch in the middle of play. They don't wait for the play to stop, which means I've actually had it before where I've done a breakaway, you know, try. I'm all the way going, no one can stop me, and then the yellow carded player runs back onto the field and actually stops my player from scoring a try. So that definitely needs to be fixed before Rugby 22 comes out, and I will be scrutinising that fact hard. As I was actually saying earlier on, there is a referee on the field, so good to know that. Actually didn't know for the video I made. But there is no touch judges. Again, so there's another thing you could do. That can't be that hard, can it? Just add a couple of touch judges that run along the side of the pitch. Easy thing to add in. I feel, you know, they don't even have to really do anything. As long as they're on the field and waving a flag every now and again, I think that could be fun. Nigel Owens is the best. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think Nigel Owens was so good at breaking down. I think that's why I like Paul Williams so much. He's such a laid-back referee who, to me, really breaks down the reason why he's giving penalties, which I really like. There's one thing that annoys me about a couple of refs that do give penalties, especially when they give penalties to one team and not so much the other, even though it's literally the same thing. I think Andrew Brace is one of the worst for it. I've done a couple of videos talking about how bad I think Andrew Brace is. But so many games I've seen Andrew Brace refereeing where he will penalise a team for one thing, and the other team will do the same thing almost immediately afterwards, and it won't be a penalty. Where I think people like Nigel Owens, Paul Williams, I think Wayne Barnes to quite an extent as well, they're very fair, they're very even. They do really, if they don't necessarily cover all of the penalties, but they do, if they have a specific looking for one thing as a penalty, they will apply it to both teams quite fairly, which I think is the best way to referee. And when something is given, they really sit down and explain why they're doing it the way they're doing it. And as well, the ability just to overrule other people. I've watched games before, especially when it came to like the Super Rugby Aotearoa. That was a nice try. Hit the gap. Look at that. That was beautiful. Ray Lee Lowe straight through there. I just want to watch it. I want to watch this again. It's quite. That was a lovely little. Like, look at this for a little pick pass. Look at that, straight through the middle. Good shot. What was I saying? I've already forgotten. I've lost my. Yeah, sorry. In the Super Rugby Aotearoa, that there was a game that I saw Ben O'Keefe was refereeing, and he just got the call completely wrong when watching it through the TMO. And Paul Williams came on and just, as an assistant ref, just said, "No, you're wrong. This is the decision." And he changed the referee's decision on field to the correct decision. And I think the ability to stand up, there's an awful lot of assistant refs that I do see just waver under referee pressure. And he would say, "We're doing it this way," and you think that's just not correct. Yeah, imagine him in Rugby 22. Yeah, again, I just think it would be really cool. One thing they did do in Rugby 20 for a period of time was in the card system, in the pack system, for having players was they had players that had retired that you could actually still add into the team. So when I first started playing the game, I unpacked both Parise and also Greg Laidlaw. Of course, they're both no longer in the international rugby scene, but you could unlock them, and it wasn't quite the same as like FIFA, where they have what are they called, the legends or the icon players, where it was like an older player coming back, which was really nice. But again, if you had like an unlocking system, you could literally have a packs that are dedicated to referees and have older referees that have retired and older players that had retired and add them back into your team or back into the general game. I think it would be really cool. I think there's so much stuff you can do with a rugby game, and unfortunately just no developers seem to quite grasp the full extent of what you can do with a rugby game. And the rugby games do struggle because a lot of people don't give rugby games the chance to be good. They play a game, it's not AAA quality graphics, therefore they immediately quit out the game and say the game was terrible. As long as you can get a game with good mechanics down and actually interesting, replayable reasons why you want to go back and play the game again, I really don't mind. I've never been a big one for a game needs to look spectacular. As long as it looks better than its predecessor, I think that's perfectly fine. Okay, Tuala going down the wing. He's got the speed. Oh, going to get a little kick away. Japan, unfortunately, seem to be playing the same way as they did against Ireland back in the autumn. That's another reason I think Ireland are going to do so well in this Six Nations. I just think they're looking so dangerous. Oh, really low, couldn't get it away. One more, get it out wide to Fidao. Can we go through a little step here? Oh, okay. Let's get with him. Extra support. That's a Veo. Can't make his way through. Little wide pass. Oh, terrible pass. And the interception. And now we're on the back foot. I don't know who the Samoan fullback is. All right, let's... No, that's not the pass I wanted. Okay, we'll make it work. Come on, let's keep going. Ireland be good in Rugby 22. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ireland... I don't remember the last game Ireland were rated poorly in. I think Ireland have always been rated as a pretty top team. Although I actually think Ireland are rated lower in this game than Wales. I'm not sure how the team ratings were done. I think they literally take them when the game is made. I think they take the world rankings in the real world, and then they literally convert that into the number. I'm not sure if it changes. I can't believe it's all just based on the players, but. Yeah, I think Ireland will certainly be good, both in the game and in real life, I imagine. If you don't know the answer, just push A. Yeah, Karen, hi, I just want to say you're a huge fan of your content. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Been really good at the Rugby YouTube channel. Awesome, thank you so much, man. What do you think of Scotland's chances for the Six Nations? I don't think bad, in all honesty. I mean, Scotland have always been that team that were always competing for 5th or 6th. And, I think I underestimated Scotland a little bit last year. The Scotland team has become a different sort of animal over the last 12 months, 18 months. Sorry, again, if anyone wants to call out a game, feel free to check out a game down in the chat, and we can do a requested game. But yeah, Scotland, that game they had against England looked so ferocious. I really wish they'd had that same energy that they had against England in some of the other games. Again, I think if you look at the actual outcomes of that tournament as a whole, I think Scotland played very well against England. I've got to cast my mind back like a year now. Obviously, they beat Italy. They beat France in that superb ending for them. Very, very good from them. Not letting a game go. They've really, manned up now to being able to play the full 80. Tonga versus Exeter. Wow, there's a great call. There's a game you'll never get to see in real life. In all honesty, as much as I was happy to see Wales beat Scotland in that game, again, I felt Scotland deserved to win that game against Wales. So if they'd beaten Wales as well, they would have only had the loss to Ireland and add in another loss to Wales. I'm not sure where they could have come. I think Scotland, could they have even won last year? What am I looking for here? Exeter. Where's Exeter? We'll check Exeter on. There we go. But yeah, I think Scotland are in with a good one this year. I think the only thing for them will be the amount of away games. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who they're playing. They're playing Wales away, which I think if they were playing in Edinburgh this year, I would lean massively towards Scotland. With it being played in Wales, potentially, dependent on fans and whether Wales can even play in Wales. It makes it a bit harder to call. If it's a full stadium in the Millennium, or the Principality rather, I think Scotland could struggle a little bit. But I think they've got a chance to beat Wales. The England team's looking young. Although they did very well against South Africa, it was an untested team. South Africa didn't really know what to be prepped for against that team. And England played much better in that game. They beat them last year. There's no reason Scotland wouldn't be absolutely fired up to do it again this year. I think the big games for them will be playing France and Ireland, but I could certainly see Scotland coming away with 3 wins this year, maybe 4, maybe if they have a really good game. I'm not sure which way around they're playing, France or Ireland. I'm not sure who's got who playing home and away. Okay, there we go. I can't remember who was asking about yellow cards. So as you can see now, Harry Williams got a yellow card. There's no animation for a yellow card. They will replay the clothesline tackle, which is the only way to get a yellow card in this game. And then, just like that, Exeter have the yellow card above their name. Let's go professional. Let's go for a kick a goal. Are Barbarians in it? Not in Rugby 20. I really hope they do Rugby 22. I would really like to see the ability to create a Barbarians team, not just a generic Barbarians team. Oh no, we didn't make it. Go, go, go. I forgot how bad Tonga have in terms of kicking stats in this game. Yeah, again, what a cool idea. I've also said the same thing for the Lions. The best way to do that, if you can't get... Oh, we got another yellow card there. Alex Cuthbert. What's he doing? Chopping people's legs off? Yeah, Barbarians and Lions. If you can't get licenses for them, the best thing, again, to do for me is just create a way of creating your own. Have a standard setup, have a Lions setup, have a Barbarian setup, allow the actual player of the game to go into the settings or go into the team management settings and pick their own Barbarians team. Awesome idea. I mean, it would be pretty much the same as the creator team, but maybe it's because you could actually pick professional players from every team. Maybe you could even do, certain challenges. You could have pick a Barbarians team from only UK-based teams, and that way you only had, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England to make your Barbarians team. You'd have to manually pick them, and then you go on like a Barbarians tour. There's loads of stuff you could do with the Barbarians. And again, the same thing with the Lions. They'll do the Lions, you know, every 4 years. Why not have the ability to just create your own Lions team and do the tour with them? I think that'd be fun. Wales, Ireland, and Italy away. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of games there for them. England and France at home. Yeah. You know what? I might pick Scotland over England then. Yeah, or Ireland away. I don't think they'll win Ireland away. I've got a bit of a suspicion Ireland are going to win this year. I did have a look at the odds. I'm going to be mentioning this in... I'll be doing the prediction video at some point over the next week, where I'll go through all the teams, all the odds, and my thoughts on what it is. But I did have a look at the odds on some betting sites, and Ireland are like third favourites behind France and England, which really surprised me. I think the Ireland depth is enormous, and every player is top quality. To me, they beat New Zealand by just being better. Whereas I feel like the France-New Zealand game, as exciting as that game was to watch, I feel like France played a slightly more dishevelled New Zealand team, and they were already on a bit of a downward spiral, and France just turned up to it and just went for it and came up with a really good result. But to me, I think Ireland put in hard graft and beat New Zealand in a very good form. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ireland doing well this year. I'm trying to read chat and also keep an eye on the game. It's really tough. Oh no, that's a great kick. Oh, good cover there. We'll take that into touch. We don't care. That nearly went wrong. I don't think Scotland have enough depth to win the Six Nations. Yeah, maybe not quite yet. It's certainly getting there. A lot of the big names now being added in. They've been doing really well at club level, which is always a nice sort of baseline to judge. They won... I'm trying to think what the games were. Glasgow and Edinburgh, I think it was, on the weekend, beat both of the Welsh regions, which... Oh, that was a terrible pass! Oh, Alex Cuthbert. I thought you were yellow carded. Cuthbert, get back off the field. Look at this. Why did my 13 just not catch it? Outrageous. Outside centres, can't trust him. But yeah, you know, a couple of big players coming in. I think Schumann coming in, Duan van der Merwe coming in. I mean, pretty much what I'm naming there is a lot of the South Africans coming in. Really helping bolster that team a bit. But it's getting a lot more set now. A lot of players that I don't think were in form or haven't been performing to a top level are generating a bit more hype. It's nice to see Darcy Graham playing good again. I thought he was in good form last Six Nations. Stuart Hogg is actually playing some of the best rugby I've seen from him in a long time. I know people love Stuart Hogg, and I always get ransacked when I say Stuart Hogg isn't as good as people think he is. But last Six Nations, he was actually truly quite impressive. You know, I don't think it was as impressive out with the Lions, but I thought he had a good Six Nations. Duan van der Merwe is just rocking that almost Fijian style of being a back, but also a forwards. I think for me, for Scotland, it's just going to be. I think the target for them. I don't think they should be looking to win it, even though. They've probably got a chance to win it. I mean, everyone every year has a good chance to win it. They performed well last year, but I think Scotland might struggle to actually win it. But for me, what they want to be working on this Six Nations is the set pieces. They weren't bad last year, but there were certainly some games that they struggled against. I did do a review of the Ireland-Scotland game, which is on the channel, and it's quite a long one. It's like 15 minutes. I really went quite in depth with some of the breakdown situations for them. And the only thing that this tongue and kick is awful. But Scotland line out and Scotland scrum against some of the bigger teams. If it goes wrong, it seems to go really wrong. So for me personally, what I want to see from Scotland this year is not the loose play, not the counter-attacking rugby. Like we know they can do that, and that's fine. But for me, from Scotland, what I want to be seeing this year is nailing the line-outs, nailing the scrums, really getting down, and not against teams like Italy and I think to an extent Wales. I think Wales are struggling a bit at the minute with line-outs. I want to be seeing them beat Ireland who have, you know, James Ryan, Tyg Burn, Andy and Henderson at the line out at one time. I want to be seeing them steal that line out. That's where you know Scotland are on the up and up, and that's where they'll be pushing for the World Cup. You know, they've got Ireland in the World Cup, so if you can't beat Ireland, you know, you're going to struggle against South Africa as well. I think the game to target the Six Nations for them is just target that Ireland and beat Ireland at their own game. Oh, Joe Simmons there with another nice little yellow card. So many yellow cards in this game. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I think I'd agree. I'm not sure if Scotland have the same depth as some of the other teams. For me, Ireland literally have like a 50-man team. You just replace anyone with anyone. It just doesn't seem to drop at all. Can I even get that into touch from here? Let's try and go with the wind a bit. Barely. But yeah, for me, Scotland have got a starting 23. And as soon as you have a few injuries in there, you might struggle a little bit there. Where's God? Eating pot noodle while typing. Hey, I mean, it's probably about as complicated as playing a game while trying to talk and read chat, to be fair, Tom. I've got to try and get used to doing this. It's so much different to doing videos and stuff, doing streaming, because when you do videos and stuff, you just get to sit down, I get to play a game. When I do like the Six Nations preview videos, you know, I've got the team sheet in front of me. I already sort of know who's on the team because I've had to read through it beforehand, and I know enough about rugby to talk about it. So I actually just got sort of get to sit back, enjoy playing the game, and just talk generally about rugby. But actually reading the chat is really different. I have to full on like look at a screen on a whole different setup for me. It's really new. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying getting into streaming. I'm enjoying getting into it. I'm really looking forward to when Rugby 22 comes out. Hopefully having, you know, a big bunch of viewers. It's nice to have as many viewers as we do now. You know, a lot of people, you know, the channel only has like, you know, 1,000 subscribers. We've already got quite a few people actually watching the stream, which is awesome. You know, it's awesome to have so many people interacting as well. So when Rugby 22 comes out, I'm looking forward to probably seeing the chat fly by as like a couple of hundred people are trying to type at one time about Rugby 22, and I won't be able to read anything. That's another terrible pass. This Tongan team with passing is not necessarily the best. We've got a couple of players offside there. Needs them to get back onside. Good offload. Oh, that's a great pass. Oh, that's a superb pass. Well played. Exeter go over for try number 2. Have Six Nations been confirmed for Rugby 22? I don't know if has the tournament. That's a very good point, Tom.
Let's see about the conversion now.
Have they confirmed the Six Nations? I don't know if they've actually confirmed the tournament itself. Actually, that's really interesting. I don't know if they have. They do have Ireland, France, Scotland, Italy and Wales licensed. They've got 5 of the Six Nations teams licensed. I guess they actually might not have the Six Nations as a tournament licensed because they don't have England. I wonder if there has to be some sort of agreement for all nations to be involved in order to do it. Otherwise, the actual tournament would have to have a fake England team. That's interesting. I mean, again, you know, if you can't have a license, what's the immediate way around that? Is, for me personally, in the game settings, is a create a tournament setting. You know, how easy. You don't need to be buying licenses and stuff. Just have a section where you have create a tournament and you pick which teams are involved in the tournament and then which team you want to play as in that tournament. Let the AI game decide how the teams are going to play each other. You could create a Six Nations using, you know, a create a tournament, and you wouldn't break any license agreements. You get around it real easy. Your game is amazing. People like me make videos on it. Great. All super positive, and yet I would absolutely believe they probably wouldn't add that in. The grass looks better in Rugby 22. Yeah, from the static images. I mean, shots like this where you're actually at like ground level, there is genuinely like blades of grass. Like, you can see all the spiky grass. I mean, I play this game on a big television. I play on like a 65-inch television. I don't play it on a monitor. So if anyone's watching this on a phone, you might not be able to actually see that very clearly. Tonga. The kicking stats for Tonga are awful. But But yeah, the grass looks ever so slightly two-dimensional in this game. It's quite hard to do grass and make it look genuinely good, I think. Even some of the FIFA games, I've seen more modern FIFA games and it looks a bit green square for grass. It's quite hard to add in the depth for grass, but shots like this can show it off. Again, a way to make ground feel more realistic is... I think weathering to the ground. I mean, you can see it here a little bit. You can see where footprints and stuff are. There's patches of grass missing. You know, a simple thing to do here for me would be in weather-based scenarios when you're playing in a rainy game or something like that, is to have the turf tear up. So, you know, if a lot of tackles are made... I didn't even read the question then. It's something about Welsh teams. I haven't even read the question, just picked A. But if you had weathering on the ground, you would be able to have players get tackled on the ground in the same place over and over and over again, and you could make the pitch become slightly more muddy, and, you know, add puddles in. You could have, if you kicked the ball and it landed in a muddy section, it bounces less, and you could have, like, you know, changing terrain with the game itself, and that immediately makes the game feel more real. Even if it looks terrible, it can make the game feel more real. I feel like a lot more people will be interested in that. Oliver, hey man, tuning in your channel last season when the Six Nations were on. I got into Rugby 20 when my housemates showed me the Autumns. Your reviews last Six Nations helped me understand a lot. Awesome, thank you, Oliver. I'm glad they helped you out a lot. This is sort of what the channel is about. I enjoy playing games, I enjoy talking about rugby, and I sort of combine them both and play rugby games and talk about rugby. So I'm glad it helps. I do want to do more videos on, like, rugby reviews. The review I did last year for Wales versus England is like one of the most popular views on the channel. It got a good, like, 10,000 views or something, which was insane. And I really enjoy doing stuff like that and breaking down rugby for people that are either new to rugby or, you know, are casual watchers and would actually like to understand a bit more. The only problem is they are so much work to do. You know, you have to watch the game 2 or 3 times. You've got to write a script. You've got to record the game. You've got to break all the footage down. You've got to find the correct sections. You've got to revise the script. You've got to film the audio. You've got to edit it all together. So it takes about 3 or 4 days to actually make one of those videos. Anyone watches Squid Rugby, you know, he does a very similar sort of style video. You know, he puts an awful lot of work in. They take a lot of time. So in the middle of the Six Nations, it's really hard to do videos like that. But I would like to do more for sort of, you know, newcomers to rugby, or for sort of lower end watchers of rugby, just to help them learn and understand a little bit more. Anyone got any games, by the way? Feel free to drop down game ideas or just random teams, and I can check some teams on. People will probably make England team real, team add players. Yeah, well, in fact, let me quickly chuck on for anyone who is going to pick up this game, because now that Rugby 22 is coming out, this game will probably become a lot cheaper. Awesome. Namibia versus Racing 92. Look at that. Straight in there. Love that. People straight in with teams. This is why I like streaming. I love being super involved with people. Okay, let me just go on to... What was I going to do? So the collection thing. For anyone who picks up this game after Rugby 22 comes out, and it is cheaper, because England aren't licensed in this game, if you go on to buy boosters in this game, and you go over to an England pack, wherever it is... Wow, how expensive is England? Where is England? There it is. If you go over to the England pack is 51,300, and I've got like 500,000. If you buy an England booster pack, even though the England team isn't licensed, when you open it, you get only England international players from English club levels, which means you can do as I did in this game and go into the solo game or the My Squad. I've just pushed the same button again, and literally create an England team. As you can see, you know, Mako Vunipola, Jamie George, Cal Sinclair. I've got the full England team here. They're all there. You can make one. So that was a really nice way they got around the licensing issue with England, and it's really nice to see. And Tom wants Wales versus New Zealand. Also, we'll do that game afterwards, Tom. Let's go to... What was the first one? I forgot what it was. Namibia versus... Oh, Racing 92. That was it. Namibia. Namibia. Here we go. The big boys. The big boys, Namibia. I've played so many games as Namibia. I love Namibia. I don't even know where is... I don't even know where... who is Racing 92 even under? I don't know my French enough. Racing. There we are. There's our Finn Russell looking... It actually kind of looks like Finn Russell, to be fair. How do you get card points? Card points are the coins which you earn in a game. You earn a set amount of coins for just winning a game or for doing other things. You also have these bonus things which, when you're starting out in the game, awesome, really good to get things. When you're like me and you just play 1,000 games of this stuff, they're really easy. You know, don't concede any tries. We'll try and do that one. Why not? Win with 5 points, and then something else. General, I don't know. Wow, all these challenges suck. I only keep the high end challenges. It takes 2. Score 2 tries. There you go. So you can check them on, and they help give you boosts and stuff to your final score. The England-Wales review was how I first found out about your channel. Oh, awesome! Yeah, I think a lot of people did. That video, when I put that video out, the channel had something like 180 subscribers when I did that video. And I think I just carried on watching some of the rugby games. I didn't even pay that much attention to the channel then. And I came back after releasing that video, and it went straight up to like 400-500 subscribers. That video itself got like 300 subscribers. It was awesome. I loved that. And we had a very similar one with the Lions. We had a lot of South African subscribers join during the Lions tour because so many people enjoyed the post-match reviews of that one. That was totally different. It was like a match report I did for that. Loads of people got involved with that. Really love it when people get involved and subscribe to the channel. So I'm glad they do help people, and people do find the channel through them as well. That's awesome. The game $44.99. Yes, it's expensive, which is one of the reasons why I want them to have it on digital, because I've got a little discount code that I can actually hopefully use to get the game slightly cheaper. However, currently, Coetzee, the big man, through the middle. Look at the size of this boy. Look at that. Like Antonio from France. Yeah, currently it looks like the games are only physical. I did tweet at Rugby 22 earlier today to ask them if the game is coming out on digital. They haven't responded. They haven't replied to anything. I don't know if it's coming out digitally, which is a bit of a shame. What we got? Well, why is my button not working? There we go. I could not skip that for anything. Chili. So hyped for Rugby 22. Want to play it now? Yeah, absolutely. I'm psyched for it. I can't wait. I'm gonna give it like another. I don't know. I might give it like another 4 or 5 days, and if I don't hear anything about it coming out digitally, I am just gonna pre-order it from my local game store, and I'll get it on the day, and I can get on with it then and just install it and stuff. But I don't know what it'd be like if it's going to be on disc. It feels weird having to buy a game on disc now. That feels so old-fashioned, considering it was only about 5 years ago where you probably couldn't download games digitally for the Xbox or so, and you would always want to be just getting the disc. But you know, that is the way of the world now. That was a good turnover. Oh, there's a kick. Oh, put big pressure on. I really hope they fix that. I really hope they fix AI kicking the ball randomly around. Leagues all licensed. Yeah, the English leagues and the not the Pro 14s anymore, was it? Now the United Rugby Championship is licensed. They'll have the Pro 14 and the D2 were in. The top 14 and the D2 were in this. I think they've got a lot of the French leagues. Nacon is a French company, so I think they're a little bit more synergized with the French teams in order to have all those French teams. I personally don't know a lot about French club level rugby, so I tend not to play as them as much, just because they're not quite as interesting to me. I watch a lot more of the Pro 14s at the time, so I was playing a lot as a lot of the Welsh clubs and some of the other clubs, and then international rugby for me is sort of where I know a little bit more. So, but I think any game developed by Nacon will always be big on the French leagues over anything else. Is there a World Cup game coming out? Is there a Rugby World Cup coming out? As in a Rugby World Cup game, or as in the Rugby World Cup? The Rugby World Cup will be happening. Have I got that ball? Where's my scrum half? Yeah, I assume you mean the Rugby World Cup game. I'm not sure. There was talk a little bit ago with I think it was Big Ant Studios leaving or partnering up after doing Rugby Challenge 4. That's why Rugby Challenge 4 just sort of got abandoned after a while. Because I believe they've sort of been picked to potentially work on the next World Cup game. Which would, or maybe that'll just be called Rugby 23. Oh, Plato through the middle. Plato, I'm not sure of his name. Don't know my Namibian internationals that well, unfortunately. I was quite sad that we didn't get a World Cup game for 2019. I thought with how many big game studios there are in Japan and a Japan World Cup, I was really expecting there to be a World Cup game for 2019, which just never came, unfortunately. I would have liked that. Ooh, there it goes. Is it on pre-order? Yeah, Tom. It's on pre-order. If you're, I assume you're based in the UK as well. You can pre-order it through Game. .co.uk, literally Game, the store. And I think I've seen it as well on Smiths. Not that I've ever bought the game through Smiths. And then there was a couple of other sites that are also selling it, but on a much lower cost. And I always get a little bit wary when it's a new game coming out from a site I've not heard of that has the game for half price. Always a little bit wary as to whether that's a scam. Personally, I'd say if you want to be safe and you want it on the day of release, probably worth pre-ordering through. Oh, Newman, probably worth pre-ordering through Game themselves. This is a lovely try. If this gets over the line, can Grayling make it? Come on, Grayling! No, can't get there. Just so you have it on day of release. That's probably where I'm going to end up getting it from, unless in the next couple of days they announce they're releasing it for the Xbox Marketplace or something. I do tend to play all my games on. Oh, that's an awful kick! I absolutely pushed the wrong button. Well, there's a waste of a kick. I was too busy trying to have a drink. I do play all my games, or most of my games, through Xbox. Just because all my videos, even the stream right now, is actually being run through my laptop. And God knows what would happen if I tried to play a game on my laptop whilst recording on my laptop, while streaming on my laptop. I think it would just burst into flames. So I tend to play most games on the Xbox. So I'll hopefully they'll release it on the Xbox Marketplace. If not, looks like I'm getting myself a disc. Is how it's going to go. Jonathan Davis be good in commentary. Yes, in fact, there was something I didn't notice. So in the video I put up on the channel earlier on, I took out the audio of the actual trailer they've released because they had music in the trailer, and I didn't know whether the music was going to be copyrighted. But I didn't notice till I actually went back and was editing it that the commentary in game, there is a bit of commentary in the background. If you go watch it on the Knack on YouTube channel, so you can watch the full video and hear the commentary. The commentary sounds identical to Rugby 20, and I'm wondering whether they've even bothered to get new commentary people in, or have the same commentators redo the lines, or if they've actually just reused the same audio from Rugby 20. I would actually be a bit disappointed if that's what they've done, but considering that they've probably spent a load of money to get the All Blacks license, I bet they've cost cut by use the same commentary audio as is in this game, and maybe paid the commentators to do new names and stuff that they didn't say in Rugby 20. Oh, terrible knock on, shouldn't have given it away. But yeah, that'll be something I will be keeping an eye out for when the game does come out, because I do think that audio is just being reused. What would you give this game out of 10? To be honest, I don't think it's a bad game. It picked up a really bad reputation. If you talk in terms of graphics, all right, this game doesn't look the best. It doesn't look, it isn't up there with some of the more beautiful games in the world. Even games that are getting remastered. Playing Destroy All Humans remastered, playing Alan Wake got remastered on the channel recently. Those games are looking good. Those games are looking good even as remastered games. They're like beating this game that's coming out now. And that's just an old game, with some updated models and stuff. But mechanically, I think the game is good. It runs like a rugby game. There is glitches, there is exploits. But I have never found a sports game without them. No matter what it is. I mean, I've seen some appalling videos of FIFA for glitches and exploits and things going wrong. One of my friends plays Madden, and he worked out on Madden there was a set play you could do where as long as you pressed the X button to pass to a certain person, it got to the person every single time, and you basically just walked your way up the field slowly. Even big games have exploits in. So to me, as long as a game is has good teams in, has good licenses, and is mechanically relatively sound, I'm quite happy. Yeah, I think I would fairly rate this game like a 7 out of 10. Generally, in terms of a rugby game, I think it's quite high. I think maybe even like an 8 out of 10 in terms of rugby game, just because of everything it has. The ability. I mean, even, I'm not really using them, but the set play ability here. Being able just to pick 4 random set plays. Oh, let's do rugby league style. Cool. The players get into position. It's really easy to understand. You just, there, bang, I just performed a set play. And now I've got numbers on the outside. It does work. They just need to do a couple of updates to it to make it a little bit better. But I still think it's a good game. I would absolutely recommend, for anyone who hasn't picked up this game, if you haven't got the money to just blow on Rugby 22 as it comes out, I would absolutely recommend waiting for that game to come out and then buying this game when it's no doubt like half price and just playing it from scratch. Treat this as your game, and you can still enjoy a nice rugby game. I think that's not a bad move. Not on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, no, unfortunately not at the minute. Who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. They've already, I did see in the tweets, they've already announced. So Rugby 20 came out on the Nintendo Switch, which I didn't know. But they've already confirmed Rugby 22 is not coming out on the Nintendo Switch, which of course is, I believe, quite highly for like digital downloads. So there's every chance they may not be doing digital downloads for this. Just pick a button. Didn't even read the question. Got it wrong. Which former player holds? I don't know what the question was. So we'll have to see what they do it on. What Xbox do you play on? I'm on the Xbox One X because I'm not a millionaire who can buy a Series X yet. But it runs fine. It runs perfectly good. All the games currently are still, coming out. They're coming out on both consoles. And like I said, the idea of playing it at 4K at 300 frames per second, it doesn't impact me too much. It's not a massive deal, or not a deal breaker at least. Anyway, right. Someone did mention Wales New Zealand as a game. We'll check Wales New Zealand on. Wales New Zealand. 91 rated. Looking forward to an actual New Zealand team, to be fair, actually. Really looking forward to play. Although, I won't play as them as a lot, because if it's anywhere near the same difficulty as Rugby 20, I will dominate every game with with New Zealand. So I might not get to play with them a lot, but I am really looking forward to having a licensed team. I've really started enjoying the New Zealand rugby at like club level, having watched the rugby Aotearoa going on over the last 2 years. Really started enjoying it, learning a bit more about New Zealand club level. So looking forward to doing some of that. Yeah, same commentary, lol. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there'll be a I think there will be a cost cutting. Imagine EA doing rugby. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the idea of a bigger studio doing it. I would like the idea for someone to invest a lot of money into a rugby game. The problem with rugby games is I always feel like they snowball. So you'll find, so if you go back a few years, I don't know if anyone watching has ever played Rugby 2015, the World Cup game. Now that was a bad game. That was a terrible rugby game. That is without a doubt the worst rugby game I have ever played. I couldn't believe quite how bad that was. I was so hyped for that game coming out. Because I loved Rugby 2011. It was the next like rugby game that came out after that for me. I was so hyped to play it, and it was terrible. So the problem was that game did so badly and got rated so badly, people had it refunded and didn't want to play it, that when they released the next rugby game, people expected the next rugby game to be really bad. So not as many people bought that game. Well, what happens then is a game studio like Nakon look at this game and they go, is it worth us spending £50 million making this rugby game good, knowing it's only going to sell 50,000 copies. No. So they absolutely crack down on the budget so they can still make money on it, and because it's got a smaller budget, they make a worse game. So they then release the game. Because the game's bad, it sells badly again and gets reviewed badly again. So then, when it gets around to the next game, less people buy it again. The expectations go down. So, unfortunately, it's really hard to break the cycle. And it's still happening now. Rugby 20 is... I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game. There's a lot of positives. I've had a lot of fun with it. They have released today the gameplay trailer for Rugby 22, and already half of the comments are people saying, this game looks terrible. This will be worse than Rugby Challenge 4. This looks like a visually terrible game. I won't buy this game. As soon as you generate that sort of comments around a game, why would Nakon pump massive money into this game if that's the responses they get before they've even released? No one has any idea how Rugby 22 is going to perform. It might be the best rugby game ever. But already people are saying, I'm not going to buy it because of some of the graphics. As opposed to the team licenses, the mechanics, the way it feels, the difficulty settings. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It didn't look good on a trailer, therefore I won't get it. And it's so hard to judge, and get people to do it. I would love a big studio to take over it, but until a game sells well and has good responses, a big studio will never take over a rugby game. EA will not take over this because it will make no money. So somebody needs to break the cycle, release a rugby game that is going to potentially lose the money, but is so sound that it may lose the money on release, but then over the course of time people go, wow, what a superb game. And then when they do the next one, it's got loads of hype and they make huge money on it. And as soon as it makes huge money, some big investor's going to be like, great, now that it makes money, we want to make a rugby game. And then you have competing rugby games. And then it gets better and better and better. But it just needs to break out of that cycle, unfortunately. So no Cardiff Stadium. Yeah, no, there are no licensed stadiums in Rugby 20. No idea why. I'm really surprised by the concept. I mean, the one I use the most, just because it's the one I know more about, is Wales. You know, Wales have been licensed in this game. They are licensed in Rugby 22. But there is not the Principality Stadium. I would have thought the owners of the stadium are tied in with the WRU, who are tied in with whoever's sponsoring the shirts and stuff. I would think that if you have the license for Wales, you would also have the license for the stadium. I don't know why that's not. I'm not an executive higher up that knows any of this stuff. There's probably 1,000 reasons why in terms of law. However, I do think, again, potentially a missed opportunity. Imagine if... Oh, Josh Adams. Oh, we didn't manage to run that one wide. We're going to have a pressured scrum here. But if you were... if you had someone in your company that was a slightly younger... not necessarily like an intern, but someone in a managerial circle who was slightly higher up. Imagine the WRU have been approached about Rugby 22 coming out. And they've said, we want to license your team. And they go, great, which other of the Six Nations teams are licensed? Well, all of them bar England. You go, right, okay, so England aren't in it, which means either English supporters who want to buy a rugby game either have to buy Rugby Challenge 4, which is notably been abandoned, or they have to buy this game and have an unlicensed England team. It's like, oh, it puts them in a difficult position. But one of the positives, I would think, if you worked in a stadium, was imagine finding out that Twickenham isn't licensed, but or not just Twickenham, but none of the Six Nations stadiums are licensed. If you were working for Principality, wouldn't you be like, right, we want to license the Principality Stadium? Because to me, no matter what game, maybe it's slightly biased because as a Wales supporter, but if I feel like it would apply to any stadium. If one of the stadiums in the game was real, I'd probably only play on that stadium. if the only stadium was Murrayfield, if it was the only licensed stadium in the game, I would set it in the settings to default every game plays in Murrayfield, because it's a real stadium. I don't want to play in a fake stadium if there is a real one. And by doing that, you'd be the only stadium in the game. I feel like people would get really, really hyped about your stadium. Then I thought that'd be really, really awesome. But no one does that. Does game do 40 minutes each way? No, it does do 20 minutes each way. And believe me, in Rugby 20, after playing 20 minutes, you've had enough because you're about 300-0 up. Is this hard level? Yes, this is the hardest difficulty this game has. Which is why I tend to play slightly lesser rated teams, just because I really don't find this game difficult. This is the hardest difficulty against the hardest team, and I mean, to be fair, I'm only 7-0 up. It's because I got it on a slightly shorter game, and I'm also trying to read chat. But that is one thing they've already said for Rugby 22. They're going to have harder AI, they're going to have improved AI, they're going to have different difficulty settings. So for me, someone who's played this game an awful lot, really looking forward to the new challenge and having some actual difficult AI to compete against. I want to see people scoring tries against me. I want to be seeing them take 3-pointers when it becomes available, rather than Thomas Williams playing it dangerous as he goes down the wing. We're going to run the length. Come on, Johnny McNichol, get on it, man. You're meant to be faster than this. No, I know how it goes. Oh, they're saying that. I did see Johnny McNichol get outrun on the weekend. Who are they playing? Oh, I think it was Scarlet's Ospreys, or maybe it was a couple of weeks back actually, where Johnny McNichol just got ran around in circles. Awesome trailer. I would give this 7 out of 10 from what I've seen. Yeah, I think 7 out of 10 is perfectly fine, but a lot of people would absolutely rate this game like a 2 out of 10. 7-0. Hey, come on, Tom. If you went to see a Wales game and they won 7-0, you'd be right there with me and being very overjoyed. I'd be very happy with 7-0. Rugby 22 must be harder. Yeah, it must be. They must push to have it be harder, just to make it, you know. I think it is probably one of the very few things that you could maybe say is like not unenjoyable, but makes it less enjoyable, is the fact that the game is so easy, especially when you do a lot of the solo stuff. So for anyone who hasn't seen, I'll drop it on. We will be doing this for Rugby 22 as well. We'll be looking at everything going on. This is my Created Wales team that I was doing, but the actual divisions you do was the standards and fixtures. I mean, oh, well, there you go. In fact, it's on the right-hand side here. So, my events. If you look at how many games you have to do in a season, so I'm not going to count them all individually. What are we looking at there? 30, 40 games. If you're doing 40 games for one season, in terms of of just one season as a club level, when a game is too easy, you genuinely can get very bored, because you've literally got to, you just beat every I mean, in fact, anyway, let's have a look at some of the scores. 47-0 against Exeter, 74-0 56 against Connacht, 33 against, like winning to 0 as well. Like, I'm not even conceding points. It's not only is it not close, it's I don't even concede points. Have you ever lost? No, I genuinely don't know. I don't know if there is a stats anywhere. Is there a stats? I don't think there's a stats page. I remember playing Rugby 2015, and it used to have in the top left corner a stat of how many games you've won and lost across your entire career of playing in the game, and mine was 99%. Which I lost one game on Rugby 2015, which was I was doing the World Cup as New Zealand on hard difficulty, and one of my pool stage games was against Namibia, and I couldn't be bothered playing it, so I simulated the game, and New Zealand drew against Namibia. So it ruined my win streak on that game, and I couldn't believe it. I was so angry that the simulator broke me. Zebre versus Ireland. Absolutely, we can do Zebre versus Ireland. How long have we been streaming for? I feel like we've been streaming for, oh my god, it's like 10 o'clock. Wow, it's gone really quick tonight. This is why I really enjoy. I've really started enjoying this stream. Has been absolutely the most fun stream. I've only done about 3 streams so far, but this has been by far the most fun because having people involved and stuff, being able to do chats and stuff, way more fun. Actually talking to people and interacting. Zebre and Ireland. Oof, tough game. This could be fun. I mean, we've just had a 5-minute discussion about how I've never lost a game. Enter Zebre versus Ireland. Here we go. What do you think the chances are? This one game will now be the one that I actually lose. How many European Championships? What do you think? 0? Oh, look. I got it right. Oh, you also get coins for answering those questions correct. I think it was you, Tom, who was asking about that. Yeah, if you get those questions correct, you get 100 coins, which doesn't sound like a lot. When you've played the game for 2 years solid like me, that's probably like 1 million coins that I've done. Have I got a favourite player? Ooh, that's an interesting question. The favourite player for me was when I was growing up, it was always Shane Williams. I love Shane Williams. I thought he was awesome. I'm not like a lot of these lads. I'm not like 6'4". I'm much closer to like Shane Williams' height. And getting to see him play rugby and just absolutely excel in it was my favourite player. Currently, I think it depends on your terms of favourite. I'm really enjoying Zammit at the minute. I think he's really stepped up. This year, and coming into that Wales team, and he's single-handedly winning some games for Wales. He's doing well at club level. He's been really impressive. In terms of which player stands out to me as like the most impressive player, I would say Tyg Byrne. I think Tyg Byrne is phenomenal. I've been a little bit upset for him with him not winning any of the Six Nations like man of the tournament. He didn't win. The World Player of the Year, he didn't win. I think Tyg Byrne is one of the best rugby players ever. I don't know. Maybe when people think of like the best rugby players, they think of people who like run round 9 players and score a try. But in terms of graft and hard work, I think Tyg Byrne is just phenomenal. He plays 4, 5 and 6, and all of them to top tier international standard. He scores tries. He was in the top 3 for most line-out turnovers. Was in the top 3 for most turnover balls in the Six Nations. I think he's an absolutely exceptional player. But unfortunately, because he's so good, Ireland always put him on the bench because he's so versatile. He can play anywhere, which sort of unfortunately ruins his game time a little bit. I played Rugby 20 a lot and lost 12 as Namibia. I can't think of because I'm zoomed in. 12-14 as Namibia against Wales. Oh, that's a tough one. I assume that was on one of the hard difficulties as well. Yeah, Namibia. Some of the teams are actually difficult. There's a couple of is it Canada or Russia? I think it's Russia. In this game, where for some reason after it has to be a longer game. I don't think you have enough time for things to go wrong in short games necessarily. If you play like a 10-minute, 20-minute game as Russia, you have to genuinely survive a good, I'd say 5 or 6 minutes of real life time with players that drop the ball constantly and cannot win a ruck. And that makes it really hard because you've genuinely got to try and survive for as long as possible. But yeah, there's only a few teams, and like you say, who actually put that on? I can't remember. I was Karen. In order to actually lose in this game, you have to be the lower team. I can't ever imagine losing as the higher rated team in this game. I don't know what would have to go wrong for me to. I'd probably just have to see if I could play with one hand or something. Oh, here we go. Out to the wing. Got a bit of room. Let's kick it on. Who's going to follow it up? Who's that? Is that Mayer? Can he chase it down from range? No. Oh, good charge down. He was definitely offside. Lavotti, can he make it over the line? No, he can't. Oh, go on, let's be cheeky. Here we go.
He's keeping the ball in play.
Drop goal. Have they said there will be gameplay? No, no worries, Tom, you're going off now, no worries. Have you said there'll be gameplay? Yeah, there is gameplay out. The gameplay trailer literally came out today that does feature some gameplay, but in terms of, like, sitting down for a 10-minute video of just games, I think we'll wait until release, unfortunately. Oh, can I get down there? Can we go around the side? Palazzani! Oh, no, couldn't get round. Pedro, kind of what are you there about Shane Williams, my favourite player being Darcy Graham? Yeah, absolutely, Darcy Graham has been awesome as well recently. I think he. There was such a shame for him. I think it was the Six Nations. I'm going to start getting times mixed up now from all the rugby last year. When you go out of rugby playing after the autumn internationals, my brain begins to fold on rugby. There was I think it was the Six Nations, or maybe it was the autumn internationals. There was a series of games that Darcy Graham had where he played absolutely brilliantly for like 3 games and then went out with an injury, and I felt so bad for him. Oh, in fact, no, it was in the Wales Scotland game. I had a big argument with a couple of my friends about this because I said that even as a Wales supporter, I think Scotland should have beaten Wales in that game, and the reason Scotland didn't win that game was because of the red card. And by that I don't mean because they got red carded and were down to 14 men they lost. I still think they could have won with 14 men, but I think the reason they lost was because of the red card against Xander Fagerson. When it came to scrums, they took Darcy Graham off in order for the replacement prop to come on. And Darcy Graham was absolutely killing the Wales team on the wings. Like, he was if you go back and watch that match, every time Darcy Graham has the ball, he like makes a line break. It was incredible. And as soon as they took him off instead of Duhan van der Merwe, I was astonished. I understand Duhan van der Merwe is the big boy, utility boy. He's forward and back at the same time. He's probably the better option from a manager standpoint, but in terms of that game on its own, Darcy Graham, I think if Darcy Graham hadn't gone off in that game, you would have seen Scotland beat Wales in that one, which was a bit of a shame for them. Lucian Cook was a huge tackle in the centre there. Let's see if we can get this wide. One more, come on. Malakar will try and kick this in a little bit. Oh, that's a lovely kick. Look at that. Beautiful pickup. We'll take that try. I completely agree with you about Tyke Byrne, really good. I think he's really underrated. Yeah, I think he really is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Hamish Watson had a superb Six Nations. And, you know, I think he deserved to go out with the Lions as well. I just Tyke Byrne, just every game. Did that not go in? I actually think that did go in. But I think Tyke Byrne just on another platform. As a Wales supporter, it was a bit of a shame to see him when he... Again, getting into club level, I used to watch club level a little bit. I've got into it more as I've got older. But when you watch Tyke Byrne play at the Scarlets, I used to think, why does Tyke Byrne not get to play for Wales? And of course now you know why, because he's absolutely Irish with a name like Tyke Byrne. But when I was younger and I was thinking like, oh god, you know, we need to see this guy get into the Wales squad. And now with the new laws they've introduced for team swapping, with, you know, you have to not play for an international team for a few years. There could have been the opportunity for Tyke Byrne to have come to Wales, and I would have been very happy if he had done. Oh, we get taken into touch there. The lock department for Wales coming into the Six Nations as well is going to be a real worry. I don't think Alan Wynn's coming back. Adam Beard, you know, he's just going to have to take up the mantle there. Will Rowlands, I'm not fully set on Will Rowlands yet. I still think he gives away so many penalties that just aren't necessary. And I think the line-out situation for Wales is never the best. I do think Wales are going to struggle this Six Nations. Especially when you look at Ireland. I mean, again, I know I'm going to keep talking about Ireland, but Ireland, the Irish line-out, you know, Ian Henderson, James Ryan, and Tyke Byrne as well. You know, what a triple threat in the line-out. They just don't lose line. I mean, they used it against New Zealand. New Zealand's so good with the line-out as a platform to actually attack from, and they just got beaten in that game, and Ireland absolutely took the opportunities with the line-out there as well. Oh, can we get it? Can we get... No, Canner! Don't pick it up! That's not what I wanted. No, can we get through? Okay. Right, let's go for something outrageous. Here we go. Outrageous move. Crossfield kick. Come on, Canner. Let's make it happen.
The ball
Oh, can it get across? No.
Safe in his arms. He gets back
Crossfield
onto
kick.
his
That is
feet
one thing,
and
actually, I would like them to see in terms of set plays. Crossfield kick is not one in... or it is. Or you can sort of attempt one, but it's not very good. You could actually do a really good crossfield kick in 2011, which I really hope they add into Rugby 22. That game still haunts me. But I do remember being Darcy getting subbed off for WP Now. So I thought, not be more different players. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think WP Now probably eat Darcy Graham, doesn't he? It probably does that many calories in a day. Yeah, no, Darcy Graham going off in that game was a real shame for them. I do hope he gets some game time through this the Six Nations coming up. I think there's going to be some really good games this Six Nations. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hopefully also going to be able to actually go watch the Wales-France game, which will probably be an absolute beating. But I'm really looking forward to go watch it if it actually happens in the Principality. Right, what time are we? Right, we are at 10:15 now, guys. So let's do one more game. I'll give it another 30 seconds in case anyone wants to drop down some teams. We'll play one more game and then we'll call it a night for the stream because I've been streaming for like 2 hours. This hadn't meant to happen. I've just got super into it now. So feel free to drop down any teams that you fancy. If not, I'll just pick a random selection of games. Do the challenges work anymore? Yeah, again, there's another thing they need to fix. Challenges just stopped working in this game. I really hope they fix that for Rugby 22. In there, anyone going down? Oh, there we are. We want another Scotland game. It's fine with me. Let's. What am I even going to find? There you go. There we are. And Scotland. Oh man, I love Scotland. I really hope Scotland do well this year. Actually, it would be nice to see. You know what I really love is like an outrageous finish. I do believe the winner will either be Ireland or France this year. But hang on, do I want to do? Do I want to do blue and blue? Let's do white and blue. There we are. Let's do not playing in the same colours. I just push back again. There we go. And we'll do Scotland. There we go. I'll kick that one off. But if it's an Ireland or France win, I would really like to see Scotland have a really good year and come something like second. There's still these talks about, you know, when is Scotland going to break through. I'd really like to see Scotland get like a really high end finish again. You know, staying away from that 5th place. Who came 5th last year? Did England get 5th place last year, actually? I can't remember. What was it? Wales? Was it Wales, Ireland, France, Scotland? But they were all on 3-game wins. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's 12 months ago. My brain doesn't work that well. But yeah, I really hope Scotland do perform well at this one. I hope Italy perform well at this one. Italy are a very weird team where, when you watch the Italian club level teams, especially like Benetton, like there's so many players in Italian club level that play really well, and then as soon as they get into the international stage, it just doesn't seem to come off, and I have no idea what causes that. like even the players themselves seem to perform slightly worse. Like I didn't know a lot about Monty Ioane when he first came on the scene for Italy, but then he super cemented himself as like the attacking threat for them. Italy used to just use the forwards and go through the phases to score tries, and then Monty Ioane really broke away as this like, oh, he's like a winger who's going to be scoring tons of tries, like awesome. It's like, oh wow, cool. I'm liking they've moved to this angle of stuff. But then, watching him play international, his defence is quite weak. He was badly positioned and missing tackles and being bumped off tackles. And I was like, oh, that's a shame. You know, such a good attacker, but not necessarily good in defence. And then you watch them play at club level, and Monty Ioane's quite good in defence. It just doesn't translate to the international scene for some reason. It's a bit of a shame for them. I would like to see Italy do it. I want to see Italy win a game. The only problem is I don't know who Italy can beat at the minute. It used to always be the toss-up between Italy and Scotland, you know, for that last place. And Scotland have just come on so far now that I just don't see Italy pulling it together to beat Scotland at all. They look too good. Scotland, I'm favouring over some of the other bigger teams. I might be favouring them over Wales this year. I might be favouring them over England, depending on the teams that get put out. So I don't know. I don't even know who Italy would have the best chance against. Maybe I mean, as insulting as this is probably going to sound, I think Italy might have the best chance against Wales, but I still don't think that's very likely. I mean, that's mainly down to Wales missing about 30 players through injury, rather than it being like they genuinely think they can take them on. I would like to see Italy play a couple more like tier 2 teams just to gel it together. Watching the Italy versus Uruguay game, I mean, what was going on there? Like, Uruguay just shouldn't be anywhere in it, and they were looking to potentially draw, maybe even won that game had a couple of decisions gone differently earlier on. And it's just astonishing. Italy have talented players, and they've got talented players coming up as well. This was the first year I was actually able to sit down and watch the under-20 Six Nations, and Italy have got a couple of players in that under-20s team that are ferocious, and I'm really looking forward to see them break through. But it's so hard to see them come through. They've got a winger, the under-20s left winger for Italy. I don't know his name. Is absolutely rapid. As these glimpses of a Zamet or a Darcy Graham or someone, just cutting through people. He did really well in the Six Nations. I think Italy did all right themselves in the Six Nations in the under-20. I think they came like 3rd or 4th. But you want to be seeing these lads get up. I mean, Garbisi's young. He's younger than me, I think, isn't he? What is he, like 23, 24 or something? Oh, there's a knock on, and there we go. Half time, 0-0. This is a tough game. He's still young. They're still trying to get these young players in. I don't think there's anything wrong with generating a young team, because no offense to any Italian people that'll be watching this, but Italy aren't going to be winning the Six Nations anytime soon. They aren't going to be getting out of the pool stages, unfortunately, in the World Cup. They've got mullered with brutal New Zealand and France, isn't it? I think for Italy. That's difficult. They're going to struggle. So I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing some younger people. Find a way to generate a bit of a team together. Team cohesion's a massive thing. I don't see anything wrong with it. Bring on these experimental lads. Why not? You play in, Italy versus France in France. I was like, oh, well, screw it. Chuck on the under-20s lad. Why not? No one will know what to expect from him. He might score an amazing try. It'll be a real boost for you. I think sometimes just playing the same team over and over and over again doesn't really get you anywhere. But I don't know. We'll see how Italy get on. Tuolagi. Not a lot of support there. Have I got my defence set wide? Yes, I do. Wow. Look at my defence. It's all over the place. Good tackle again. I do not want this game to end 0-0. We need to get a score somewhere. Move out the way. Right, good move, Sadie. Come on, let's get up the field a little bit. We're not getting anywhere. Oh, Stuart McAnally, get out of here! Outrageous! Just stood next to my player. Come on, let's get this up the field a little bit. Yeah, in terms of Six Nations, I think it's going to be a really fun Six Nations. I think, unfortunately, as a Wales supporter, I might be quite sad through a lot of it. But as a rugby enjoyer and someone who does rugby content on YouTube, I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing what some of the games toss up. I'm really looking forward to Ireland-France. I think that's going to be a horrendous game. I think they're just going to be killing each other. It's going to be awesome. You can go wide, Too slow on the passing. I got my... what am I doing here? No, that's the one I'm looking for. Let's push up a bit. There we go.
They're choosing to line up much flatter in attack.
Well, you've got to expect they're going to be more direct with that approach.
Oh, nearly got through the middle. Come on, get with him. Scrum half, take it around the outside. Through the middle, the big boy.
They've held on to the ball.
There has to be room somewhere. Murdy finding a little bit more of a gap to the winger. There's no one there. Oh, the scrum half decided to take it himself. What's he doing? Come on, we need to swim wide out.
This looks like a plan.
The classic tactic for anyone who hasn't bought this this game yet is a double wide out. I always recommend the double wide out. Smash one up the middle, go through the middle, boom, switch it back, chuck on another wide out, and have your winger immediately get there. Look at this, boom, there we are, right on the wing, get a bit of room. Oh, it's a good handoff. Can he reach the line? Yeah, there we go. Gonna try. 78th minute. What a way to steal a game. Outrageous.
And us as well.
Absolutely right, Nick. And it was
I am looking
so
forward to
well
Rugby
done
20.
with
Oh
the
no, what a terrible kick!
answers
Look at
for it.
this! What's he doing?
No! Lagarde.
That's what happens when you completely let go of the
He needs to
stick.
keep
That was a
it
good
together.
move, wasn't it?
He really shouldn't be missing kicks like that.
Alrighty, we got to hold out for 1 minute.
Ball safely
Let's
taken.
get back up the field.
No time left on the clock. We're
Oh, that was a
into
good
the
pass.
red zone.
Oh, look at that for a pass. Decron through the middle. Still going. Back up to the halfway.
Oh, that's a great tackle.
Oh, there's got to be room down the inside here.
Steps off down the
Oh,
touchline.
we're going to hold it
They've
in.
held
Hold
on
it
to the
in.
ball.
We're not kicking it out. We're going to keep it going.
Taken to the ground.
Keep
Now
doing the
he has to
moves.
release the ball.
Keep going through the phases.
Oh,
No,
look
can't
at
get
the
there.
energy, the dynamism of it all. Pass.
Decron.
He
Out to
passes.
Murday. To Tuolagi.
They have to get
Oh,
the
Sean
ball
Maitland in
now.
this game is just rapid.
Brilliant
I
tackle.
can't get around him on that wing at
And
all.
it's still theirs.
Okay.
There was a
Oh,
gap
through
in
the middle
defence and he got
again.
through. Ajon still
I mean, the
has
sensible thing
control.
would absolutely be to kick it out, but that's not what we're doing. We're going to slowly make our way up the field. Let's keep going. One more pass. And again, Sadie, get it out, man.
The number 9 frees the ball.
Aberdeen.
And a
No,
ruckus forward
can't get it
to
through.
keep the ball.
Pierce, get it wide.
Not a
Oh,
good pass
terrible
by
pass.
Pierce.
Got a lot of work to do here.
He's missing too many
Oh,
passes.
Scotland loading up on the
Possession
tackles.
at the back of this ruck.
Oh, I mean, there's so much room out on that wing. I just can't get it to the wing.
Oh, look at that offload. Pierce.
The
charging
offloading in
in.
this game is outrageous. No, that's not what I do. Hang on. Let's set the
Backs are
line
lining
depth
up
back a little
so
bit.
much
I'm
more steeply.
struggling to make any ground here. Oh, there's a nice little interchange of play. Should we go for a fancy pass? Here we go. One way, then the other. Oh, they weren't expecting it.
Ball still for
I only
Ajon.
found that out about a month ago. That you can do like a round the back pass.
Ajon still in
I couldn't
possession.
believe after like 2 years of playing this game, I actually found out like new stuff. Oh, there's a lot of pressure here.
It's
Get
a
with him,
run
get with
for
him, get with him.
Ajon managing to keep the ball. There's not a
Where's my
great
winger
deal of
gone?
support there.
Pierce still not making his way down. I can't get around this defence at all. This is the longest game ever.
The ball's
And
being
again.
nicely moved
And again.
Bad
Oh
pass.
no, what a terrible interception! Oh, it's gone dead. Oh, how do I get out of this?
Successful off-
Here we go. We're going back up the length of the field.
They're trying to create danger.
Come on,
Using the
Tuolagi. Keep it going.
Look at this, plenty of space out wide. And
What
they
an
keep
outrageous
possession.
game. This was a great suggestion for a game. Oh no, Sadie. That's not where we wanted it.
Ball alive despite
Right, come on. Do something, do something, do something. We need a wide out here.
Guamo.
This is the most into this game I've been all night, I think. I've
That
been...
move not working.
Oh,
Maybe
good
they
step.
just need to spend a little
Keep
bit
going. There's
more
got to be
time
room on
that
this wing.
training.
There has to be room on the wing. Down to
Gaps
Pierce.
opening up out wide.
Tough work to do. Good little sidestep. Going for the corner. Can't quite make it. Get with him.
Still have control of the ball.
Oh, it's a beautiful... He's got there. He's got there again. We made it for 2. I didn't cheat. I didn't just kick it out for the sake of it. We weren't going to do that. Oh man, that was a good ending. That was a great call for a game, guys. Well done on that one. That was a super fun one. Oh man, but yeah, guys. Anyway, I hope you've really enjoyed the stream tonight. It's fun getting back into streaming. Of course, we will be streaming when Rugby 22 does actually come out. We're only 2 weeks away now. For anyone who hasn't seen the video that's on the channel going through the gameplay, that was a terrible kick by me. The gameplay trailer that came out today, feel free to go check out that. Because I think there's a lot of things that are going to be quite interesting there. Some people will, of course, no doubt, probably pick out some stuff as well that happened in that trailer that I missed. It's quite hard when... oh, there we go, I made it to level 162. It is quite hard when you're filming those videos like on the fly to spot everything. I just try and see as much stuff as I can do. So feel free to drop down in the comments there as well what I've missed in there, because there probably will be stuff. But yeah, this might be the end of Rugby 20. I'm not sure if I'm going to fit another Rugby 20 stream in before Rugby 22 comes out. And then once Rugby 22 comes out, we'll probably be doing a lot of content around Rugby 22 and then leading into the Six Nations for anyone who enjoys the the Six Nations preview videos where we chuck on a game of Rugby 20 in the background. It will now, of course, be Rugby 22 in the background. Really looking forward to doing that. But thank you to everyone who has come and joined us for the stream tonight. This is like the most viewed stream ever on the channel, so awesome for that. And for anyone who's watching it on the video afterwards, when it's actually on the channel, thank you very much. And make sure to drop this video a like and subscribe to the channel just to keep up to date with all of the rugby news as it comes out, whether it be by gaming or by real life. I'll see you all next time, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye bye.